Hello and welcome back. If you're new here, the last episode we reached rock bottom, or bedrock if you will. And in this episode we will try to remove it, because this rock is actually where the garage is supposed to go. I explained this in the last video. I'm building a concrete garage so I can backfill with stone and soil and turn this uneven area into a nice level garden. I was actually very optimistic here, thinking I could just drill some holes, insert some stone wedges, and tap, then crack. Don't get me wrong, it works, and if you have one rock or a small piece of bedrock that needs removal, rock splitting wedges works just fine. But I have a mountain to remove. So I quickly moved over to expanding mortar. If you don't know what that is, it's a slow expanding mortar mix that you pour into holes you drill in rock or bedrock. When it sets, it expands outwards with a force about 9 tons, or for my American viewers, roughly the weight of 1500 bald eagles. Rock splitting wedges have one big advantage: instant gratification. You drill a hole, set a wedge, hit it with a hammer, and you can actually see the bedrock respond. It's very satisfying, but also very physical, not very efficient on this scale. So I moved on to expanding mortar. There are many different brands and types of expanding mortar out there. I assume most of them work more or less the same. The one I'm using is called Crack, not to be confused with the workwear brand Crack. The manufacturer recommends drilling holes between 30 to 60 millimeters in diameter. They also recommend spacing the holes about 8 to 12 times their diameter. Basically, the bigger the hole, the further apart they can be. Oh, and in case you haven't noticed, this is a boring video. To be honest, I think this drill bit was 26, maybe 28 millimeters, a little under the recommendation. The reason for that is that I went to my local hardware store to pick up some 30mm drill bits for rock. The only 30mm drill bits they had were something called out of stock, and I don't think that would fit my drill. But in all seriousness, there's actually a difference between rock drill bits and concrete drill bits, even though they look very similar. Either way, they're both expensive, but still, good to know. You might notice something, that the snow is gone. That's because it's another day. This project doesn't happen in one long session, you know. It happens whenever there's time. So yes, different day, same rock. I'm still drilling holes, but I'm almost ready to pour expanding mortar. The problem is the holes I drilled yesterday are full of water. To clean them, I just re-drilled the holes. Since I had compressed air nearby, I decided to blow them out properly, just to remove any water, dust or debris inside. If the holes aren't clean, the expanding mortar won't work properly. I mixed 2 5-kilo bags at a time. Added 3 liters of water in total. Of course, if you're doing this, always read the instructions for the specific product you're using. The water ratio and especially the temperature really matters. If the mix gets too warm, it can react quickly, and in worst case you get blowout. That's when the reaction builds pressure too fast and the mortar gets pushed back out the hole. That's not something you want in your face. So measure the water, check the temperature, and wear safety goggles. And finally, the fun part. It was time to bring in the excavator. Time to see what the expanding mortar had actually done. This part I like. A lot less physical, as long as you have an excavator, of course. If not, then this part, using crowbars and bare hands, is just as physical as the last part. Even more physical, some would say. But I have an excavator. I used a grading bucket with tilt, which is not ideal for this kind of work. It's definitely not recommended. It puts more stress on the bucket and on the machine, but the tilt function gave me a big advantage. I could angle the bucket and get into small cracks and weak points. Sometimes that's all you need. What I really should have used is a ripper attachment. A single claw, all the force contained in one small point. That's usually more efficient when you're trying to tear rock apart, but they're kinda expensive for what they are. We managed to remove a good amount of rock. The excavator did its part, and the mortar did its part. But we're not done yet. There is still more rock to break. And yes, that means more drilling. Don't worry, I'll spare you from watching another 100 holes being drilled. But this time I brought a longer drill bits to get deeper in the bedrock. During this drilling operation I learned a slightly painful lesson. The drill I'm using, how do I say this nicely, not the most expensive one. I paid about $100 for it, compared to something like Milwaukee or Bosch. Those cost $1,000. I figure a cheap one would just wear out faster, but that's not what happened. What stopped working was the safety clutch, that thing that's supposed to release if the drill bit gets stuck. Mine didn't. The bit got jammed, the clutch stayed locked, and the drill decided to spin, and who do you think followed it around? Once, or maybe twice? You guessed it, me. There is a big difference between $100 and $1,000. At first, the difference feels very significant, but sometimes it might be worth it. Really depends on how much you value your shoulder. I didn't check Facebook Marketplace or anything, but I'm pretty sure that a shoulder costs more than $900. Here's a trick if you ever end up in this situation. The bit gets stuck, this time without me following it around. Sometimes you can switch to reverse and back the drill out, but not this time. It was properly wedged in there. I thought I just installed a permanent fence post right in the middle of my future garage. Very impractical. So stone wedges to the rescue. I drilled a few holes in line with the stuck drill bit and split the rock right where it was holding on. That relieved the pressure and released the drill bit. Now just imagine that I drilled another 1,000,000 holes, filled them with expanding mortar and waited. Now it's a new day and it's time to see what kind of damage it has done. lot has happened in this video, but unfortunately not enough. The mountain is still here, but so am I. Next time things might escalate a little, maybe with a slightly more serious drill, and maybe with a slightly more convincing way of negotiating with the mountain. We'll see. Well, that's it for this time. My name is Hamoslan and thank you for watching. If you enjoy slow progress, heavy machinery and questionable decisions, consider subscribing and maybe give the video a like. It actually helps a lot. I'll see you in the next one.